And welcome to another episode of Schiffbauer Over Rocks. Today we have an alumni back, Corey Wolfe, CEO, nonprofits, volunteer extraordinaire, bartender by trade occasionally. And you're like an artist now? Is that too pretentious to say?
No, I'm a mural artist. It's not pretentious. It is pretentious, but I'm pretentious, so it is what it is.
Welcome back, man. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Very excited.
So a lot of things have changed. That actually is a pun intended since last time you were on.
It is about change.
One nonprofit to another. Mm-hmm. Let's quickly dive on that. Anything? What's really exciting with that right now?
I mean, I love the opportunity at the new organization that I'm with. I mean, it's almost a year in, so it's not that new, but the program It's About Change is once again a nonprofit that a lot of people don't know about. Resource York. The last time I was here, 20 years in, people say, "Oh, I've never heard of you." Well, how? But yeah. I've understood it better that people have their bubbles, and that is the most important thing of breaking into those bubbles and understanding how people don't know about you and how to reach those people. So the program It's About Change has been around since 1979, has been doing work with re-entrants, people coming out of incarceration, and been doing great work in reducing recidivism, which is people going back into incarceration. Yeah. So, I mean, we've been doing that work since 79, and people still say, "Oh, I've never heard of you." Well,
I had no idea until you told me.
Yeah. So it's my job to make sure people do know. And although it's not Resource York where we can set up some photo booths at community events and take pictures and do that organic marketing type of thing, it's been really interesting, and we're on this new path to figuring out what's the best way for us to break into the community.
Is it a lot of networking, you think?
Yes, everything's literally everything's networking. And I mean, I will say that you and I both know that we've been in the York community for a while, and I was like, "Oh,
we're swimming in it."
Yeah, and by this point, I was like, "Oh yeah, I know everyone." When I got into this role, I was like, "I don't know anyone in the criminal justice field." That's where I'm at, and to kind of relearn these structures before I can even start meeting with them is kind of just like repeating exactly what I did when I was first coming up in York as a whole. So
I'm sure that was humbling.
Oh yeah, I mean, every day's humbling, but that was something where it's like, damn, I didn't know this person. I didn't know this person exists or this. So it's still a lot of that, and we're restructuring heavily. So a lot's going to go into meeting those people, figuring out, strategic planning overall, and figuring out how our relationships fit and how we can move into the future. But overall, supporting the mission and making sure that we can serve that population the best possible.
I'm about to say, I first had you on in 2020. You're at Resource York.
4 years ago.
It was kind of crazy to say that, dude.
Man.
But in hindsight, though, you did what you did, and more people knew about Resource York. From my perception, even outside knowing you, personal bias. So it's cool to see you in a new role, kind of like, here we go again, but in a different way.
Yeah, I relate a lot of things, and I'm still very much learning about our mission and how to talk about it. We say, a big thing that people say, inmates and convicts, ex-convicts, things like that. The conversation is more so referring to people as justice involved. They've been involved in the justice system. To what extent doesn't matter. They were involved in the system, and let's move past that because it's a lot of moving past, because time served is what they say. But if it carries with you past that, well, was it really time served, or are we kind of letting that carry with you for the rest of your life?
Yeah. It's almost like a negative connotation.
Exactly. It really, truly is. But it's kind of like figuring out all of those ways to talk about things and finding the thing that makes sense for us to kind of be out there in the public. Because, like I said, photo booths aren't going to work with Resource York that fit with them. But just kind of being out there will be really important moving forward and figuring out where we are, how we can be.
No, it's based in York. Does it have any reach in Lancaster or Harrisburg neighboring areas?
We actually were founded in Dauphin County.
Okay.
So we actually started doing work. Yeah. I didn't know either. We were founded in Dauphin County. So we had an office on Derry Street in Harrisburg for over 20 years, I believe, but doing the work since 79. Became a 501c3 status in the 90s. But it's really now kind of shifted focus into York. We have contracts to help individuals both in York and Harrisburg. Dauphin County. So we're some of our programs are just York, some are just Dauphin County, and both. So we oversee those two areas. Overall, though, the need for programs that help reentrants, individuals coming out of incarceration are high. The need is high. So the possibility of expanding is always there. But we're right now doing a strategic planning, restructuring. So we're figuring that all out, and we want to just help people best concentrate and do what we do perfectly before we expand in that kind of way. But there's definitely a need.
Yeah, no, that was my presumption with the work that you do at this point. I know you do a lot of volunteering outside.
Too much. Just kidding. Not enough.
Hey, it's never enough.
It's never enough.
But I'm just interested because everyone's got their own little, niche or like inspiration to do certain things. What compels you to get involved with a cause?
Oof.
And that's a loaded question.
So I think I could get involved in any cause, because as long as it's a cause that helps people, I will always help people. That's, the long and the short of it for me, I think. And so many things have interested me, from economic. I think the core of it is community development, I guess, which I guess when you look at mission creep, when people talk about mission creep, and it's like, well, you can kind of say that fits into your mission. And this kind of fits in too. You can basically say, oh, our mission is to help people. No, nonprofits need to have a specific mission.
I agree.
I found that there's so many different things that speak to me. And I think the overarching one has been the arts. And it's not something where I've ever been like a painter artist at all. I've done musicals and stuff, but I only did that in high school. And now to see how somehow 15 years later I've come into this realm of artist nonprofit involvement is odd. Is really odd.
I was about to say, you probably never thought that looking back on it.
I know that the first board that I joined about 4 years ago was Dream Rights Center for Community Arts.
I went to my first show at Dream Rights a couple weeks ago. It was great.
The Full Monty?
No, it was
never did that.
That was funny.
Yeah.
American Idiot was good.
That was fantastic.
I
love
impressed.
that. I'm glad you went. Yes, it was fantastic. And the specialty cocktail.
Oh, Novocaine was.
I'm the cocktail sponsor for this season, so I come up with an idea for the show.
It was so good.
Yeah, bartender. It was great. It was a great cocktail. But getting involved in Dream Rights was because coming out of high school and never doing anything theater related, coming back to York and saying, I don't know where I can go, and then kind of finding it organically, finding Dream Rights, I was like, wow, why was it so hard for me to find this? Why and how hard is it for other people to find this? So maybe I should be involved to help other people find this. So
to find their outlet.
Yeah, I think overarching everything is somehow connecting people to resources they didn't know about. And I relate that back to my first nonprofit I worked for, United Way, and my speech that I would tell everyone, because I was a teenager that didn't have health care and I broke my foot. I had mono at some point. If it weren't for my sisters being nursing students at York College and knowing that Family First Health existed, I don't know what would have happened to my foot and my mono and all of that.
God forbid, But,
and it's like, well, how many people work so hard or in so survival mode that they don't even realize or are in their bubble of knowing these nonprofits that can help them? What if they're a reentrant, don't even know that there's a resource to help them find a job, find housing, find mentorship, to help them live a stable lifestyle? My job is to let people know that things exist.
It's marketing.
It's marketing.
Which is crazy.
Nonprofit marketing, which just gets paid less.
Oh, I might have mentioned to you before, like off camera. If people ask me, like, sum up marketing in one word, it's community.
Yeah.
Wait, what? No, it's connecting. You have a cause or a product or service, and you're connecting to your respective audience and or community, whatever that may look like. It's in a nutshell. That's what marketing is.
And I think as a civic duty, as community members, we should all be marketers in that way. We all deserve to do that, because if my neighbor needs help with their electric bill, that's only going to benefit me if their electric bill can be paid. So why not I help them find the place that will help with their electric bill? Help anyone so they can be more stable, because it comes back to you. I will say 9,000% it will come back to you, even though my mother tells me otherwise.
No, it does, dude.
Profound statement. Mom, I've done a good job. Tell me you're proud. Just kidding. She'll tell me that someday.
We're gonna find Corey's mom and we're gonna like just airdrop her that clip.
Can we like FaceTime her right now? No, no. Like sometimes people question the things that I do, but it all comes back.
As long as you know what you do, why you do it.
Yeah.
It does not matter what people think. Because I get this for my own retrospects, same thing. Why are you doing all this?
Yeah, it will come back, even if it's longer term.
I've had kind of a boomer friend. I'm not gonna shout him out, but like he knows who he is. Mm-hmm. Why are you doing the podcast? What are you getting out of it? I'm like, yeah, I'm expanding my network. I might get some residual business from it, but really at the core of it, I really like showcasing people and their stories and how they help others.
I just the big banner on the Market Street garage that says "Welcome to Downtown York, PA." I paid for that for no reason besides that's a good idea.
You want to do it.
It's going to be in the square. It's going to be like hung above the square whenever there's no other banners. Mm-hmm. So it'll just say "Welcome to Downtown York." Why shouldn't we welcome people to Downtown York?
As we should.
As we should. I had that idea when I was back at Downtown Inc. And 2 years later, I now get to say, well, I luckily have the small income to be able to put that out to say that I want to welcome visitors and my neighbors and everyone, just like painting the AAA building with those beautiful koi fish on there and painting that across from the Yorktown. And
Marty might have to throw some photos up and post.
Yeah. I mean, we're working on your murals. I mean, it's going to be, I feel like in the last couple months, I've just like said, I'm just going to do things and they're going to make me happy and it's going to be low impact, but also big impact socially. I mean, community-wise versus big impact to me putting out those dollars to do it.
Yeah. I love the Welcome to York thing just from this standpoint. I was talking literally yesterday. People like, ooh, downtown York, it's scary. Don't go there. Bullshit. Every city has its, plagues.
Yeah. I mean, I think every day is a discussion about media and how they portray cities. I mean, I always harken back to Amy Lewis, if you remember her. She was a reporter for ABC.
She's great.
Fantastic. And we would always talk about, well, her goals in her career were to go to a bigger network, a bigger market.
Okay,
I mean, obviously, York, this area is not the biggest in the country, but what gets you to that bigger market, which means more money, all of that good stuff? Well, it's likes and shares. What gets the most likes and shares? Shootings, violence.
Or like secret conservatives meeting at warehouses above the old Outback Steakhouse.
Count me in.
That one geeked me out without getting too political.
Yeah, no, it's the coverage on that, and that's just newspaper. With her being like, people still heavily watch the nightly news,
or they're watching on their phones.
Yeah,
the clips.
Yeah, and we talked about that a lot. That like likes and shares are important. She would get that with shootings and violence, and we said, well, can you do something positive instead and potentially get as many likes and shares? And we created the York Report. I mean, it was her and I equally, the York Report of going into a different small business or space within York City, recapping the news, basic thing. And it became so successful. Her bosses were showing other people this.
That's impressive.
She went to Denver. She got and went to the market in Denver, which was number 11 in the country, something like that.
Oh yeah. But Amy's got to cut her bonus, give you.
Yeah, well, I don't need any of that. I just did good for the community. That's all that gives back to me. But it shows that all of that's important, and I don't know where this full circle thing comes in because we went off on the tangent. Okay. But media is important to show people. I mean, I grew up in Airville knowing that never go to York City, you'll get shot or mugged.
Yeah, no, it's a bad place.
And now I've been here for 10 years, and I care about it more than any place I've ever lived in my entire life. So it's about educating people on how media portrays things and why they portray things, but also if you have common sense, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that's the long and the short of it, as I said again. But it's just understanding that you're going to be fine. You really aren't. You aren't in danger. Just be smart. You got to be smart anywhere. I say I lived in Airville, and if I walked onto someone's property I shouldn't be on, I might have a shotgun in my direction. Well, what's that different
what are you doing
in a
here,
city?
Boy?
Exactly. Well, what's the difference between that and going the wrong place in a city?
Correct. It's common sense.
We're all more condensed. So just be smart. And I mean, I love everyone that I grew up with and still surround myself in Airville and Brogue, but it's just, you got to be mindful of everything everywhere. And York City is a fantastic place and I love it. And I will volunteer my entire life to making it better and prettier and better for the people who live here. I don't care about the tourists. I don't care about anyone from Airville coming in here. I care about me walking every day down the street and seeing
Real
graffiti or
downtowners.
murals or beautiful locations or whatnot. Of course, I want everyone to come in, but at the end of the day, all that matters are the people that live here and have to see it every single day.
I've had the liberty to bring a few friends here and colleagues, not from here, but like bigger metros. They're like, this is a cool little city.
Yeah, it's
They're like,
great.
what?
Yeah, we are so lucky to be between Harrisburg, Baltimore, Lancaster, Philly, New York, Pittsburgh,
All within a
DC.
5-hour shot, all of them.
We are, I think, the best suited space, only not when it comes to like concert contracts, because they say, oh, you can't perform in like this distance, and so York is like basically counted out of every single one of those.
You have
like,
to go to
locales.
Philly or DC.
Sucks. Exactly. But besides that, which we can always work on, we can always change and make better. But yeah, York's a great place for people who want to be able to travel other places and but still have a nice little quaint place where they can know everyone.
Where's your favorite like restaurant or place to go?
Mudhook Brewing Company.
Shameless plug.
Just kidding. Yeah, shameless plug. No, I try to go to every place, and I always want to go to more places. I mean, my favorite neighborhood bar next to Mudhook, where is a second home to me, is Liquid Hero. Always has been.
So I've never been there. I need to change that. Never been to Liquid Hero.
Oh my gosh. And they just moved locations, so
know.
you'll never be able to go back to the original location unless they do a private event that you are invited to, which I assume that you'd be invited to. But
Maybe I'll get on the invite list.
yeah, I love Liquid Hero a lot. Holy Hound, of course. That's a stalwart in the community. Oh my God! Call back to the last time. I've Googled that word many times to make sure that it worked in the setting, and it's right.
It actually worked.
I think it worked. Yeah, but Holy Hound, all that. But I always love new places. I'm excited to go to the ribbon cutting for George Street Brewing Company.
I'm talking about that yesterday. It's gonna be interesting.
Very exciting. And obviously, one day I hope to own Mudhook, so that would be great.
Put it
to
out in the
create.
ether.
I mean, it's out there.
I think you fucked with me the first time I ever met you. You were at Mudhook. Hear me out. It was really funny in hindsight because Ryan Bath was working there at the time.
RB. Yeah.
RB.
Hope he's doing well.
Oh, he's somewhere internationally with his
Of course
baby
he
mama
is.
partner.
I'm sure it was his choice, though.
No,
She's great. I know she's a world
thanks
traveler
also.
all the days long. She's great.
But I remember you served me a Mudhook. You're like, today's my birthday. I'm like, oh. I think I don't know.
It wasn't, was it?
Yeah, it
no, it
definitely
wasn't.
was not.
Yeah, no.
It was funny though.
Yeah, no,
I was like, dude, Corey definitely was messing with you.
Yeah. No, my favorite one now that I've actually like told a story at Story Slam about is like the fact that I say like that's none of your business instead. Like if I'm serving a table and they say, "What's your soup of the day?" I say, "Oh, that's none of your business." Oh, I'm just kidding. It's just oh my God, that really throws people off for like a
disarms
solid.
them, and then they probably do get the soup of the day.
Exactly. Oh, of course, I'll give them every single ingredient
It's
of the
a
soup.
psychological trick.
It is, because people treat servers like shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I will never pull the, well, I'm a CEO or I'm an executive director. Why? Why would that be important to pull? But at the same time, like, people respect those terms. And so when I'm your server, but I'm also that, I feel like the dichotomy of those things together.
The perception's a little weird.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I want people to understand that, like, I'm going to mop floors my entire life. I want to do that because I should never forget what it's like to mop a floor. Everyone should know what it's like to mop a floor.
Marty's dad and I, bar for 23 years, he would joke, I'm no better. I'm going to clean the toilets. Everyone's going to clean the toilets.
Yeah, of course.
But there was a running joke because he wouldn't say he was the owner. He wasn't braggadocious.
Mm-hmm.
People knew, like, who were regulars as they got to know him. But sometimes people thought he was just the guy in the kitchen or the guy behind the bar.
Yeah.
They never knew he owned the place because he did it. He's just there.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think it's important. That's a major way to stay humble, is to, I mean, literally do what every single person on this earth has to do one time or another. And I believe that in so many different respects, that I want the people who are in charge of me and, lead these communities and things like that, I want them to have mopped a floor sometime recently.
In some retrospect.
In some aspect, something, mop the floor,
Whatever the
wash a
metaphor
dish.
is. Yeah.
Maybe everyone washes dishes. I don't know. But I mean, I grew up without a dishwasher, so I'm always a hand dishwasher. People with dishwashers are ritzy. It's above my pay grade.
Oh, I want to touch on. What's your favorite thing about this, like, the bar restaurant scene here?
Oof. Here or
Is it
as a whole?
Here locally, yeah.
Here locally, I mean, I've created some of the best relationships in my life from serving. I've gotten, I mean, we talk about networking, we talk about marketing, all that. My very first customer I ever had at Mudhook, Russ Watson, him and his wife Jana, amazing people. Very first customers, my very first day at Mudhook. Well, 3 years later, 4 or 5, I don't know how many years later, he said, "Hey, this role's coming up at Resource York. You should think about applying to it." Well, and I became an executive director from I was at United Way before that, but like a year or two earlier, I was just a server at a place. But the fact that someone got to know me enough to know that I'm capable, and trusted me,
and worthy
like,
of it.
that's amazing. Like I mean, I think of corporate restaurants, or I think of other bigger cities. Like, I don't know how often
You won't
that
have
happens.
that.
No, and I mean, I can't count that out 100%, but what's the likelihood that it happens a lot more in York than it does anywhere else? And we're such a strong community that we care. And two, I feel like there still is a big separation in this community and every community about service industry workers and business professionals, that I want to convolute that a lot more. I want to gray area that a lot more, because if I eventually get to be mayor someday and I'm also owning a bar and mopping a floor, but also working with nonprofit and this and that, like, the box never existed.
You're practically Jimmy Carter then.
Yeah. I mean, I am growing some peanuts in my house, but also, fun fact, I heard that his peanut farm was like a multi-million-dollar industry, not just like some podunk.
But here's the thing.
So.
Have you ever heard brag about it?
No.
It goes back to the point you
he's
just made.
too busy knocking nails into walls on a habitat building.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in hospice. I mean, God bless him.
R.I.P. inevitably.
He deserves it at this point. Like,
Hopefully he
rest.
holds up before this gets released.
I know. Oh,
He might not.
Please don't. I don't want to curse him. But no, I think my message I really want to put out to the community in my career is that you should always be willing to do anything necessary to help people. And whether that's mopping a floor for the night or just spending your spare time doing something, like, it'll all come back to you. I mean, people will respect that and appreciate you for it. And maybe I don't need either of those things, but it makes me happy to help someone at the end of the day. So, I mean, that all rolls into this community in particular that has encouraged me. I mean, I wasn't like this before I moved to York City.
Oh, no.
I was weird. I was just like a worker bee. It was
kind
weird.
of crazy how that could change you in a good way.
Kind of tiring, kind of stressful, kind of anxiety inducing, but
So how do you manage with it? Because I know you said you want to talk about burnout a little bit.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's still a struggle every single day figuring out what you have the time for. And the last, I think, year that I think I approached burnout was I was just doing everything by myself and just trying to do way beyond what I was capable of at that point in my life. Not saying that every single week and month leads to a new place that you're able to do even more, but at that point it was just way too much. And I luckily was developed in my own self enough to say, hey, I can't do this. Like, some people can't say that, and then they just fucking go on a bender or this or that. Something bad happens to them that it takes even further to get out of the hole.
You have to have that acceptance.
Yeah. And I quit my job. That's it. That's the extent of what it came to. And I'm grateful that I was able to do that. I know a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do that.
Or there's fear where they can't.
It's survival mode. And so I'm really grateful for that. But I mean, it's just every day is constantly thinking, and you have to, especially if you want to do a lot, like, you have to think about your loved ones, the people you care about, everyone. And now that, like, I'm in a relationship, like, I want to make sure that I'm giving the right amount of time to that person. And
good for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a struggle. I was like, well, there's this meeting that I could go to. There's this networking event that I could go to. And, like, I might have not been able to meet someone that said, I don't want to go to your volunteer thing and volunteer with you. I don't want to go to this networking event with you. But I've been able to find someone that says, I
understands what you're after.
And wants to participate, which is major to me. I mean, JJ Sheffer runs a wonderful event called Cable House Presents in Central Market, and I volunteer every single show. And my partner said, well, I'll go with you and I'll work the table with you. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, okay. Cool. But it's also like a date because we can see a concert for free.
Hey,
but
yeah.
It's It's how I get around a lot
You got
of...
to take them on a date still.
Yeah,
outside
exactly. And it's like, well, we could have paid for tickets for this
Yeah.
thing, but we didn't have to. So we can get ice cream after. Like
There you go.
it all
Cool.
works out. So it's really nice having someone that understands that. But at the same time, I understand that not everyone can deal with someone who wants to be so
and
heavily
that's okay.
involved. Being in the public sphere of York, which is small, which is a whole different thing besides being in the public sphere of a bigger city. Might be worse, but is cool with it. And I hope I can continue being with someone that is cool with that, because I think it's only going to grow from here, unfortunately, or fortunately.
No. It's not unfortunate. It's fortunately. Yeah. When you find it, you find it.
Yeah.
I love the fact you doubled down on the gag gift coming back here on Schiffbauer
This is
Rocks.
not a gag. This is a sponsorship by
Quality House.
The Quality House. They're giving me the full amount that I paid for this in sponsorship, so that's like $16. So I'm set for life.
So if anyone says they want house drinks, we have Quality House.
You got
here
Quality
at Schiffbauer
House
Over
drinks.
Rocks
That's
now.
a level above regular house drinks. That's Quality House. Yeah. That's the end of the ad. I don't even know. I don't remember how that tastes. I remember I tried.
I'm going to take a little sniffer real quick.
You do it. I mean, crack that bad boy.
No way open.
Or bad girl. Or bad they, them.
About to say, yeah,
we're always about, it's Pride Month.
This
might release in post Pride Month.
But it is Pride Month. We're recording this.
Okay. Yes.
We'll be gender inclusive here.
Wonderful. Even though people tell me that I can't gender inanimate objects, but I tell them, let me. Or ask them, let me, please.
This is either going to go down very well or very terrible. It's Quality House.
It says quality on it. Like,
you like that little bourbon?
I mean, they say the
Old
plastic.
Irish style Kentucky straight bourbon.
They say the plastic ages it in a different way that barrels don't. They don't say if that's good or bad.
Get a little
but
cancer microbes in me.
We all got microplastics. Have you seen The Help before? The movie The Help.
No, actually,
It
not.
says, "Effie, we all got pain."
It's actually
Paul, we all got microplastics.
Corey, this is actually
2024.
surprisingly good.
How about that?
It's Quality House.
Well, I'll take some after I finish this water that I have in here.
My goodness, folks.
JK.
Oh, actually, that little aftertaste a little bit. But
Oh,
hey!
it's coming on. It's like 2 minutes later. It's going to be like, oh, I'm dying.
I love how Marty's getting the zoom in on it.
God, if we can get a sponsorship, we're set for life.
Oh, I got Costa Cigars. I'm very thankful the owners are just like, no, we want to do this here. They do it free of charge.
Yeah.
Because they understand what I'm trying to do and like they're very about it.
I don't even smoke Costa cigars, but they're amazing in my interactions.
Yeah, you
through
know, the one
Parliament
over
Arts Organization. I mean, good neighborhood folk. So I've really appreciated everyone here. I mean, I've known Wayne since, God,
Really?
I started at Mudhook. I was ordering Costa cigars since I started at Mudhook.
Before
That's
they were
like,
Costa.
yeah, like we're
They're
talking
still
10 years
ordering.
ago.
They still have a couple over there.
Yeah.
Go to old Wayne.
Oh, we do. I mean, we still get orders in.
I know.
So,
well, Wayne just talked about the other week. He's like, oh, Mudhook needs more. In his little Wayne voice.
Yep. His little Wayne voice.
Oh.
That man is 200 years old. How dare you?
He's 87 years old.
God damn. Good
I
for
can't
him.
fucking believe it.
Good for him. I feel 87 years old, but still look this good. Just kidding.
Speakeasy Mudhook. I got to go.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What you guys are doing over there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a dream come true. I love speakeasies. It's something that Jeff has said to other people when they ask. I was begging for like some kind of concept.
Unique.
It's funny. Ryan Bath would know about this. Inside person we know. Who worked at Mudhook with me, my roommate.
He's
God
dropping
bless.
a bath bomb.
Bath bomb. But underneath the kitchen of Mudhook is like a trap door that goes to the basement. And it's like, I mean, arched ways. It's very small, but I was like, oh, we could do a speakeasy there. Yeah, because the kitchen equipment's on it. We'd have to make them stay for like an hour before we'd open it up. And Jeff always knew that I wanted, the owner of Mudhook always knew that I wanted to have a speakeasy. And then about, I guess 11 months ago.
Because you guys have the space for it.
Yeah, I mean, upstairs was used traditionally as storage and office space until I left about 4 years in. And then they turned into a game room, still some office space. And then he said, do you want to make a speakeasy? And I said, hell yeah, I do. And Kathy Lau, Jeff's sister, who is amazing. She was my store manager at the home furnishing stores at Resource York.
This is York for you. It's
yeah.
People joke like Baltimore, Smaltimore. I'm like, take that sentiment and scale it down even further for York County.
And she has such a great design eye, like nothing that I will ever be able
Photos
to
are
do.
immaculate that I saw the space.
Super detailed and everything.
impressed.
That, I mean, a lot of times I'm like, Kathy, are we really doing that defining detail?
For York.
Because
It's impressive.
Yeah. I'm very happy with it. I mean, we have a phone, the old timey phone that you put your mouth up there and your ear to there, and you can order downstairs what you want. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
sick.
Yep.
I love experiential shit like that.
And we're working on different little things in the way that we can do it,
Yeah.
because obviously we're in a historic building that cannot be modified in many ways. So we're just working with what we got, but we just installed a stage. We're going to have footlights and everything. And I think everything in that space, it has 22 seats right now. We'll probably go up to 25 seats.
What?
Everything
You're dropping
in that
some
space.
news right now. I love this.
Yeah, 25 seats total. That I think everything that we did, besides time, you can never account for time, but I think we spent maybe less than $2,000 to do that entire place, furniture and everything.
That's
that place
impressive.
looks glitzy as all get out.
I know it does. I'm
Yeah.
shocked to hear that.
Yeah, so we are doing our next, we're doing like a Roaring 20s party on July 12th. So we encourage costumes, but we'll have photo ops and all things like that, like 1920s specials. Apparently people love deviled eggs in the 20s. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was busy that day.
That's what white people think.
Yeah. But Jello shots, I don't believe that. But Kathy says, oh, they love Jello shots in the 20s. Okay, let's do it then. Sure.
Okay.
But it's a fun party. We already did one and people loved it. So we're going to do another one.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to start including musical acts upstairs since
That's
we
what
have
I
a
was gonna
stage now.
No, that would imagine like a jazz or big band or even like an open mic.
Our stage, it's so small and tight up there that we can only have like a 2-person act.
fine, though. That's
but
all you need.
We're looking at like right now, working with Coco Chantel, who right
great.
over 2 doors down, working with Parliament and things like that to have her upstairs. But we want to support local acts for jazzy type things. We have Don Karn that night
Don's
playing
great.
downstairs on the 12th. So we'll see you there. Or not, that's fine. He might have plans. I mean,
Yeah, get out of here. You got plans. Kidding.
pass that quality house over.
Absolutely.
Let's get this quality house.
Take a little swig.
Oof.
Mr. Wolfe, I had you on 4 years ago. Hypothetically, I would say we would do a third repeat. Like maybe
We will, yeah.
even if it's a couple years down the line or even next year, who knows? Mm-hmm. Let's just say hypothetically 4. What do you envision your life looking like in terms of service?
Woof.
Wolf, I know, big one.
That's my campaign slogan. Woof. Woof. I usually say that as an exclamation, which that's a hard question. I think 4 years from now, I mean, I did prior to quitting my last job out of nowhere, I had a 5-year plan and I was getting so close to it and I was going to run for city council. And then I basically got to the level of burnout that like, I think was
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was a reevaluation, which I wouldn't call it burnout as much as that reevaluation, but that helped me realize like the balance that I need things in. And I mean, 4 years from now, I mean, I would love to run for city council next year. I would love to become mayor someday. Whether that is or not, I think it's going to be a great experience in meeting people from our community and talking to them and asking what they want and being able to then take that to become a better community by understanding what their needs are and connecting them. Because, well, I'm a plethora of connections to nonprofit needs, which a lot of people in York need.
I think not even that, just Corey. I'm going to toot your horn. You're a connector of people, even bigger than the nonprofit space. That's important. That's powerful.
Perhaps. And I mean, imposter syndrome, it's a thing, obviously.
We all have it. I don't care who we are.
Yeah. I mean, I forget who oh my gosh. I hope she's okay with this, but Kim Hogeman, who made the Yorktown happen
She's a great
along with
woman.
hundreds
I've
of
only
people.
Interacted with mixed companies.
She's amazing, but she was just saying she has imposter syndrome.
Everyone
I was
does.
like, Kim,
You're lying if you
we
don't.
would not be having a drink on this rooftop
Because of you.
without you. Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is insane, but like, yes.
Exactly. So like imposter syndrome, horrible. But I mean, I like to think that all I care about is connecting people to things that will help them. If I can't help them, I know somebody who can. Or if that person can't, I know that they can point them in the direction of someone who can. So, I mean, I want to keep doing that. And I mean, I try to live by servant leadership. So like, I want them to know that like, I'm going to do everything that I can to help you and that you're important and your feedback's important and all of that. So in 4 years, I hope that maybe I make a little bit more money than I do right now.
It'll come in time.
I hope to own a home because I'm a renter, just like most people in this city. And the market is so tough. I mean, I'm honestly navigating the system right now on how like I could build a home for under $100,000, which I think is like a regular amount people are pre-qualified for. So I want to teach people, if I can make this work, you can do it under $100,000.
Talk to Fred and Anthony. Or
I'm talking to Carmine
right now.
Well, I mean, they're renovating. I want to build from scratch. And
Yeah.
there's tons of plots of redevelopment authority properties that you could do that same thing perhaps. But you just got to understand the rules and the safety and everything that goes with it. If I can make that happen, I want to teach other people that you can be a homeowner too, because I never thought I could be 2 years ago. And now that possibility is here. But being a homeowner, still helping people in any way, owning Mudhook. I mean, of course, I want to be everything all at the same time. But I think the governor of Colorado at one point, sometime in the past, was the governor and own a brewery. And that was like majorly inspiring.
That's
I was
badass.
like, I can own a brewery and be a mayor. Like, hell yeah. It's a meeting space to hear people's grievances and try to help them. So
Well, that's what bars and breweries now.
yeah, in the
I talked to yesterday.
1700s.
I said the breweries are the new neighborhood like corner bars. 'Cause that's a dying thing, but that's what these breweries that are popping up. That's the new neighborhood bar.
Well, I think
Where you have that social conversation you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like getting these connections and like meeting people as they are.
Well, we talk about goals, and I have thousands of goals, but like seeing the environment of Baltimore, where you have corner bars everywhere. We have those buildings that were corner bars that were turned into.
Well, shout out First Cap because it's still there.
Oh yeah, shout out!
That is like
Love
the
First
one
Cap.
and really only true
But
corner bar in
and I
York
wouldn't say
City.
it's necessarily a neighborhood bar because
No.
it's not in the mix of it. But if you
Correct.
look at places like Bottoms Up, which is all boarded up, you look at places all around here that were neighborhood bars at one point, that Sheets or Giant, who, still sponsor him, don't sponsor me,
Actually,
bought
I
those
don't-
liquor licenses.
Yeah.
If you don't want their sponsors, that's fine
I
too.
don't really fuck with Giant.
Fuck them then. Fuck them. You heard it here.
Fuck
Profound
Giant.
Statement. Fuck Giant. Just kidding. I love Giant. I love your.
The fried chicken's delicious.
You know, my father worked for Giant his entire life. He
Really?
stocked shelves for Giant his entire life. So I have a lot to owe. I owe my childhood to
Giant.
the finances paying my father to raise me. So, but. These places, it's the way that the system worked for liquor licenses. They bought up these liquor licenses from Deegan's,
Yeah.
which was a neighborhood bar. All these places that don't exist anymore, I feel like we could get back there. We could slowly, very slowly, but we need to create a lot of housing and we need to create economies that allow for those types of businesses to flourish.
No bullshit economic growth, real economic growth.
Yeah.
And investment in the city and neighboring areas.
Yeah. My goal would be when I can own a house and then hopefully invest in other properties would be to take properties that were turned into residential that used to be commercial
Flip 'em.
to convert them back
Love it.
to
Love
that.
it.
I don't want to displace a single person. And I believe that if I can counteract that with other properties, I could potentially still make that happen. But creating what York used to be in the best way that it was, you look up West Market all the way to the fairgrounds, there are commercial properties all over. Imagine if that was bumping again. That would be great, but that takes
Time,
millions
effort,
of dollars.
and resources.
Exactly. Well, I got the time and the effort. It's just the resources. That's always the thing.
Yeah.
So it's about figuring that out.
Can't figure it out all today, but I know Marty was singing for last call. Any last words?
Pay your artists, please.
What they're worth.
What they're worth, yeah. If you need to know what they're worth, talk to someone at the Cultural Alliance.
And
or-
even if they're like shy with you, pay them above
Yeah,
market.
understand
I've worked
that-
with many graphic designers
Yep.
and like people in the arts. They tell me like, I want this. I usually pay them double. I'm like, stop.
Yeah. It is amazing that if you think about it, which if everyone here who's watching thinks about it, if you look at everything in this room, there has been art affiliated with it. That painting, obviously someone painted, but
That's
that
the
refrigerator,
owner's former wife, by the way.
love that.
Actually, this bullshit.
I think I knew her in high school.
Mayuka.
Mayuka. Damn. But this refrigerator, someone I
actually
met
got
her on Tinder, but
so
I guess
I
not.
got somebody on camera, Corey, like live on air. I said it's Mayuka John that you know. He's like, no, you need to mess with somebody on the podcast. And he's like, say it's Mayuka, my former dead wife. She was 19.
Former dead wife.
She died in a fishing
She's alive
accident.
again. She was only my former dead wife. She's back again.
Passed away in a fishing accident.
Yeah, fishing accident.
But someone actually believed that. I got them on camera.
Well, I mean, there's someone who will believe anything. But if you look around in this room, that was designed by someone who had an art background to decide how sleek it should look. These blinds, the same thing. The door right there. Why did someone decide that they're going to have the 3 panels like that? Everything in our daily lives has been influenced by an artist, whether or not we think about what kind of art it is. And I mean, the people who created the labels on these bottles are artists. And the thing is, if we try to think that, or we try to not think about what they deserve or what they need to be paid, like you're discounting our livelihoods of every single thing. An artist just decided what our phone looked like. Every single thing we drink, the microphones that we're talking into, the camera that is recording upon. So think about that when you want to think about not paying artists or paying artists what their fair share is, and compare it to San Francisco and then say, oh, well, this is a deal.
Corey Wolfe, it's a pleasure. Thank you for coming back on.
Pleasure.